taxes are potentially a real problem. So let's talk about why that is. So Steve, right? Steve comes into the office and he is one of these guys, you know, these guys where when they walk into a room, it's obvious that, at least in their minds, they're the smartest person in the room, right? That was Steve. He walks in the room, he's got his statement. Like, imagine this is his Fidelity statement. And he has his statement in his hand. He walks into the room, in the conference room, and the first thing he does is he slams down the statement on the table. And he says, I've got $500,000 in my IRA. What do you think I should do about it? $500,000. Let's jot that down. $500,000 in my IRA. Woohoo! What should you do about it? I look at it, you know, like this. And by the way, I do see his account balance says $500,000. But Steve is kind of being a jerk. So I already think, you know, maybe I'll have a little fun with him. And then I set the paper back down like that. Say, I don't see it. I don't see it. Steve, smartest guy in the room. What are you talking about? It's right here, 500,000. See the number right there? It's in black and white. I got 500,000. What do you think I should do about it? I just calmly sit back and I pick it up again. I look at it again and I'm sorry, Steve. I really don't see that you have 500,000. By the way, I think at this point he might have a heart attack. He's getting so upset, right? So Steve, here's the problem. Here is your statement right here. And that statement says that there is a balance of $500,000. But here's the deal, Steve. I don't see where it's all your money. You see, this $500,000 says it is Steve's IRA. But what do I know about any account that's an IRA? I know it's not all your money. Something is worth what you can sell it for and put it in your pocket. So let me give you an example. Let's imagine you had a house, right? And as you can tell already, my artistic abilities are not the greatest. But let's imagine you have a house. And let's imagine you sell the house for $500,000 after paying the realtor and all that other stuff. You net $500,000. If you have no mortgage, you get to keep all $500,000. Yay! But what if you have a mortgage of $200,000? I'll put M for mortgage. If you have a $200,000 mortgage, you sell the house for $5,000, what do you end up collecting at the end of the day? Not $500, you collect $300. So what's that house worth to you? Is it worth $500 to you or is it worth $300 to you if you have a mortgage? Yeah, it's worth $300. Your equity position is what it's worth. Let's go back to Steve's IRA. I said, Steve, if this said Roth IRA, then I would believe you. I would say, yes, Steve, I see where you, Steve, have 500,000. But that's not what it said. It said just regular IRA. There is some percentage of this, and I don't know what it is. It depends on Steve's tax bracket. And if you have an IRA or a 401k, it depends on your tax bracket. But there's some percentage that belongs to who? The IRS. This guy. So really, Steve, your 500,000, you don't have 500, you've got maybe 350. And this guy, he has like the rest, right? Why do I bring this up, right? Why do I bring this up? I bring it up because for a lot of people in retirement, and maybe you're one of them, a lot of your money might be tied up in a 401k, a 403b, a 457, anything that starts with a 4, or a traditional IRA, a SEP IRA, a profit sharing plan, any of these kinds of things, they are all like Steve's IRA. They're all like the Steve's IRA. It's IRA money, and that means that you get your statement and it's got your name on it, but in reality, Benny's name here, or IRS, he's part owner. IRS is part owner. This tax monster, part owner. Here's the problem. This is what Benny can do to you with your IRA at any time. Number one, Benny can increase his share anytime. And guess what that does to you? It reduces your share. he can increase his percentage. How does he do that? It's whenever the guys in Washington, D.C., those weasels in D.C., whenever they increase taxes, guess what happens? It's essentially saying we're going to give more money to Benny of your IRA and less money to you. That's a huge risk. Right now, as I'm recording this, there's our national debt right there. $30 trillion. That is the equivalent. Look to the right of it. Debt per citizen, $90,000 for every man, woman, and child in the United States. They owe $90,000. And you're thinking, holy smokes, that's a huge number. How are we going to pay that off? Guess what? By Washington, D.C., part of it, what are they probably going to do? Increase taxes, which means what to your IRA? Reduce the value of your IRA, right? Less money in your pocket, more money in D.C.'s pocket. But wait, I'm not done. Because it's not just the national debt that our government has kind of spent. We have Social Security is in the hole. We've got, Medicare is in the hole and other areas. If you add up look at this, unfunded liabilities, that means the government has promised something, some benefit that they've not collected any money on, and this includes the national debt. Look at this, liability per citizen is almost $500,000. $500,000 for the government. So this is how inept your federal government is. They have spent so much money without caring about where they're going to get it from. They need to collect roughly $500,000 for every man, woman, and child in this country just to pay for all the stuff that they promised. Do you think that they're going to increase taxes down the road, given all that? You can almost guarantee it. They don't have an option. They have to increase taxes at some point. And if you have an IRA here, this is your IRA or 401k or whatever, and like Steve, I don't know how much you have. You might have more than 500, less than 500, doesn't matter. Remember, your IRA, 401k, 403b you're in partnership with the IRS. It's not all your money. It's some of it is yours and some of it is Benny's. So here's the best thing. This is where I want to wrap up today and this series. What are you going to do about that? How am I getting money out of that scenario? Because here's the cool thing. The IRS says, this is what Benny says. He goes, hey, if you want, now Benny is good in one way. He says, if you want, you can get out of this deal anytime you want by simply doing Roth conversions. You can get out of this deal with me anytime you want. You can do partial Roth conversions. You can do total Roth. I don't care. Buy me out today in some way, shape, or form, and you can get out of this world. And once you're in a Roth IRA, you are tax-free forever, provided that you follow all the rules. How much money, right, can you be moving into a Roth every year? Are you doing that math? Is this year the right year for you to do conversions to some degree? And if so, how much? Are you sitting down with your advisors every year to figure that out? 5 areas you absolutely have to cover. Making sure that you plan for longevity, for inflation, for health care, for market risk. And now today we're learning what? Avoid this guy, the tax monster. Avoid Benny. He's not a good guy. He's kind of a jerk. That's our video. That's the end of this series. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you again next week.